The AFP says it is slowly catching up with our neighbors in the region in terms of defense capabilities. General Gapay puts the AFP at 60% of strength of our neighbors. Despite the pandemic, 2020 was a big year for AFP modernization.
Gradually, we're rebuilding and establishing a credible defense force that is at par with our neighboring countries. Right now, maybe masasabi natin we are already at 60% at par with our neighboring countries. But once yung mga nasa modernization pipeline, na-deliver na yan, medyo paparehas na tayo. And right now, we are gaining the respect of our neighbors as far as yung defense capability is concerned.
And joining us now is One News Defense Editor Manny Mogato. Manny, just how far behind are we? He said 60% capacity relative to our neighbors. Where do we really stand?
Oh, we are at least 15, 20 years behind our neighbors in terms of equipment and weapons, as well as in defense spending. You see, Singapore is on top of the countries in Southeast Asia with more than $13 billion in defense spending every year. And they are ranked up to the top 30 countries in the world with the highest annual defense spending. And behind them are Indonesia and Thailand, who both have $7 billion apiece every year. Next is Malaysia with $3 million, and perhaps we are ranked among the lowest. So we are at least 15 to 20 years behind because if you will develop submarines, which our neighbors already have, it needs 10 years to train our personnel and to develop and build a submarine base. So we're still behind, and we still don't have a multi-role fighter. And most of these countries in ASEAN have already F-16 fighters. We only have one missile frigate, and the rest have more than 3 or 4. So we're still very far behind our neighbors.
Given that, Manny, let's do a quick recap because General Gapay said we are ramping up. A quick review. What happened in 2020 in terms of our bringing up our capacity? Were there any major acquisitions? And for that matter, what do we expect in 2021?
Okay. For this year, despite the pandemic, we received our first frigate from South Korea. It's a missile capable. Then we received our Black Hawk helicopters from Poland. We also got some ground support planes from Brazil. And if the pandemic did not happen, we could have signed a contract with India for our first medium-range missile. These are short-to-ship missiles. And by next year, we'll be getting 8 fast-craft armored missiles from Israel, as well as tanks from Israel, and probably 16 helicopters from Russia. So we are in an exciting times because this is the first time that the Philippines is getting missiles and modern equipment. For many, many years, the Philippines were lagging behind because our focus was fighting the insurgency.
Maraming salamat, Manny Mogato, One News Defense Editor.